Showers there into Tennessee, but a lot of that's going to fall apart as it tries to transition down to the southeast here. Now, as we take a look right now at the radar, you can see a couple of spotty sprinkles right along the Tennessee-North Carolina border, but nothing going on through the southern mountains and into the upstate. We do have a couple of lightning strikes actually over into Tennessee there, but nothing again that's really going to slow you down too much. This is going to be out of here by the time we get to 8 o'clock this morning, as those showers again just fall apart as they get up and over the Appalachians later on this morning. Our temperatures on the way out the door, very mild, and in fact in the mountains you're probably not going to see a whole lot of movement from where your temperatures are right now. 56 in Bakersville, 64 in Asheville, 60 in Franklin and Waynesville, and in the upstate you're only going to climb about 5 to maybe at the most 10 degrees. 65 in Greenville, 61 Anderson down to Greenwood, and 63 in Spartanburg. So go ahead and leave the jackets at home, but just know that again the temperatures aren't going to warm very much from here. 66 at 8, 67 at 10, 69 and still mostly cloudy at noon, and then the skies clear this afternoon, getting into those low 70s, but we are going to see the winds kick up. We'll talk more about those winds picking up as we head into the later part of the day coming up here in just a few minutes. Ladies.
All right, Chrissy, thank you. Now to a first alert. A major construction project is hitting the gas.
A few of those light showers dry through the upstate as well as into those southern mountains. So you really have to look out here towards Yancey, Mitchell, into Madison counties. Not much going on in Haywood right now, although if you travel up to I-40 into Tennessee, you've got some of those showers there. And then down towards Graham and Swain counties. That's mainly going to be the focus for the next couple of hours, where over the next hour, you see a couple of those showers trying to make a run at the border. They kind of fall apart the further to the south that they go, and really by the time we get to about 9 o'clock, any of those showers are out of there. But it is going to bring some mostly cloudy skies as we head throughout the morning hours. By the time we get to about lunchtime, clearing out in the mountains where you've got now sunny skies for the rest of the day. Clouds hanging on though through the upstate through about the lunch hour, and then clearing out. So by the time we get to 2 o'clock, those clouds have moved out of the way and we get that sunshine returning in full force for this afternoon. Temperature wise, we're not going to see a whole lot of climbing today, especially across the upstate where you get 69 in Cowpens as well as Gaffney, 72 from Moore down to Gray Court, with 70 in Seneca and Liberty, 71 for the afternoon high in Hartwell, Georgia. So not only about 5 to 10 degrees of a climb from where we're at this morning. Now in the mountains, you're just kind of holding steady. In fact, through the morning hours, really not even going to see those temperatures move a whole lot. 64 in Bryson City as well as Silva. You've got 62 in Hendersonville, but then those upper 50s from Highlands out towards Brevard. This front is going to bring a lot of wind energy. We saw some very strong winds yesterday. We're going to see that again today. So that means we could see some isolated power outages, the possibility of some down tree limbs, especially some weaker limbs. Certainly something to watch out for here as those winds across the mountains build into that 35 to 45 mile per hour range. And for the upstate, we're looking at about 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts as we head through the afternoon. Now for the upstate, this is going to come down overnight tonight, whereas the mountains are going to stay gusty into the day tomorrow, where I still think we're going to see some 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts, especially through some of those higher elevations there into Buncombe, Yancey, and Mitchell counties before finally starting to dry down Wednesday night and into the day on Thursday. We do have a wind advisory in effect for Buncombe, Madison, Yancey, Mitchell, and parts of McDowell, as well as Rutherford counties. That's the mountains of those two counties there. That goes until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, where especially across some of the higher mountaintops, we could see winds gusting as high as 50 miles per hour and sustained winds 15 to 25. So again, watch for some of those isolated power outages, the potential for downed trees as well. We've got a lot of sunshine the next handful of days once we get those clouds out of here today, returning to sunny to mostly sunny skies all the way through the day on Friday. A little more cloud cover for this weekend as we start to back for an evening here in April. You've got 68 degrees at 6 o'clock with that first pitch coming up here at 6:35. So things looking good as those gates are open. You're getting to those seats. 67 at 7 o'clock, 63 at 8 o'clock, and then 60 once that sun goes down at 9 o'clock this evening. Nice clear skies out there. The only catch is that it's still a little windy, but hopefully they've got kind of that shelter and the winds will hopefully not be too big of an impact on the game this evening. But other than that, a beautiful night for some baseball, ladies.
All right, Chrissy, thank you so much. It is 7:24, and as we mentioned, it is officially baseball season in the upstate, and tonight is opening night in Sparkle City.
Fox Carolina's Brianna Walton has what you need to know before heading out to the Spartanburgers game.
Across the upstate, things nice and quiet out there, not seeing anything in the southern mountains. It's really as you get to these border counties right along the North Carolina-Tennessee border. Chioa up towards Yellow Creek, seeing some light spotty showers there, and then you've got some heavier rain actually up around Poplar into Green Mountain and Roaring Creek here. as you look into the northern part of Mitchell County there. So be aware of that if you're headed out and about this morning. Those are going to fizzle out though here in just the next hour and a half and then not be an issue for the rest of the day. Temperature wise in the mountains, you're actually going to hold steady for most of you. We may see a couple of degrees of a climb for Bakersville and Bryson City where you're in the 50s. For places like Asheville, Brevard, Franklin, where you're already in the low to mid 60s, you're just going to kind of hold here for the rest of the day. In the upstate, we're only going to climb about 5 to 10 degrees at the most for this afternoon as we go from these low to mid 60s on the way out the door, which is very mild, but only headed for afternoon highs today in the upper 60s to low 70s. So grab those t-shirts as you head out and about. You don't even need a jacket this morning as it's so mild out there, but that t-shirt is going to be with you all day long. I would grab the sunglasses because we're going to clear out the sky by this afternoon, but keep in mind it's also windy. So ladies, this is what I like to call a pants and ponytail kind of day where you're going to want to make sure that you don't have anything that's going to fly up around you there. We'll talk more about the temperatures warming up as we head into the later part of the week coming up here in just a few minutes. Ladies.
Hi, Chrissy. We thank you so much. It's coming up on 7:32, and it's a day that we've been getting you ready for, drivers specifically, as they get ready to head into downtown Greenville. We can tell you that construction is set to get underway today on the Church Street Bridge.
It is. This is a live.
So a 20-degree drop from yesterday where you actually had a record high in Asheville. Then we're going to gradually start to warm things back up as we head towards this weekend, getting back above normal by the time we get to Friday and into the holiday weekend. Today, though, is just a touch below normal. We're in the ballpark at least with 61 in Travelers Rest under Cross Anchor, 72 in Clinton with 69 in Chesney this afternoon. You've got 71 from Easley to Bowman with 74 in 96. We're going to see decreasing clouds as we head into the afternoon. Mostly cloudy this morning, but then more sunshine for the later part of the day. Temperatures in the mountains are just not going to move a whole lot from where you are as you head out the door this morning. So as good as we get is 59 in Canton down to Brevard, 64 in Silva, and then that 69 in Marion. So you will see a little bit of a rise there for some of you the further east you go. But temperatures in the upstate about where we should be. 73 is normal, 72 is the forecast high for 71 is the high forecast high for today. In the mountains, 70 is normal, so that 63 is about 7 degrees off of where we should be. The big thing today to pay attention to is those winds. This is a look up into the mountains where those winds are going to be gusting 40 to 45 miles per hour between about 11 o'clock and 6 o'clock this, or I should say 4 o'clock this afternoon. Then some of those 30 to 35 mile per hour gusts all the way through 6 o'clock before dying down a little bit into the afternoon. In the upstate, we're looking at winds gusting as high as 25 to 35 miles per hour. So possibly as high as yesterday, maybe even a little bit higher than what we saw yesterday afternoon. Now tonight, we're going to feel the effects of that cold front. We dropped down into the 40s across the upstate and into the mountains, even some upper 30s there. So it's going to be a chilly start to the day for your Wednesday. And we're going to keep those cooler mornings around into Thursday and Friday morning as well, and then start to moderate as we head into this upcoming weekend. And that goes hand in hand with those warmer morning afternoon highs as well. So we jump back to that 79 above normal by Friday as we head into this upcoming Easter weekend. 84 for the afternoon high on Saturday, and then 85 for Easter Sunday. So really overall this holiday weekend not looking too bad with no rain in the forecast. We're going to keep those warmer than normal temperatures going even beyond this weekend as well as we keep that drier weather going into the day on Monday as well. Beyond Monday, that's when we're going to see our next chance for rain. It looks like beyond what we're going to see today, but other than that, it's going to be a dry week. So really, again, focusing on those temperatures as we head through the next Madison and Haywood counties. We've got some of these light showers that are moving through. Some heavier downpours up around Green Mountain into Cane River as you look up towards the Tennessee border here in both the northern parts of Yancey and Mitchell counties, and then stretching back into Madison County along I-26 from Ivy areas north towards Tennessee, up around Walnut down to Fines Creek into Jonathan and Leicester. You've got some of those scattered showers there as well. Our temperatures out the door this morning into the upstate are into the low to mid 60s, so you probably don't even need a jacket as you head out and about this morning. The temperatures, though, not going to rise a whole lot from here. Into the mountains, we've actually been dropping here into places like Bryson City, Asheville, Bakersville, Franklin. So you're now down into the upper 50s. I think you gain a little bit of ground this afternoon, but you only get back into those low 60s this afternoon. Whereas the upstate, low 70s, so temperatures you'll notice just not moving a whole lot here over the next handful of hours. We get to 67 at 9, 70 at 10, 71 from 1 to 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then we're back to those 60s by 6 o'clock with clearing skies this afternoon. We'll talk more, though, about the winds that are going to pick up today. Almost as gusty as it was yesterday coming up here in just a little bit. Ladies.
All right, Chrissy B, thank you so much. At 8:05, let's get to your 8 things at 8 with the first look at a Greenville murder suspect after he was arrested in North Carolina.
Yeah, this morning he is waiting to be brought back here to the upstate. Michael Stevens is accused of shooting his roommate, Taiwan.
Getting settled into your seats there for the first time. Not too bad out there. 67 at 7 o'clock this evening. You've got 63, and the sun's still up just barely at 8 o'clock. The sun goes down right after 8 o'clock this evening. So by 9 o'clock, we do drop down to that 60 degrees, but still very comfortable out there. No need necessarily for the extra layers until we get past about 10 o'clock, and that's when we'll start to dip into those 50s there. But a nice clear sky. It is going to be breezy today, so that's going to be the one catch when it comes to that baseball forecast for today. And we'll talk more about that wind in just a few minutes. Mac?
We've got something for your sweet tooth and a new place to play for the kids. Coming up, we're showing you what's new around the upstate.
Plus, a proposed hotel development in the upstate is moving forward, but neighbors are raising some questions about zoning concerns.
We're also dropping our temperatures for today. The upstate, though, I anticipate you staying dry. South Mountains, not necessarily going to see anything. It's really along the Tennessee-North Carolina border, those border counties, where you have the best chance to see some scattered showers here over the next hour or two. As we take a look at the radar right now, you can see we've got some heavier showers working their way right now through Yancey and Mitchell counties from Cane River, stretching up towards the Ingalls area. Those are going to be trying to make it all the way to Grassy Creek. And since we've got some decent downpours, I think they'll hold together as they drop down to the southeast. Up around Walnut, you've got some of those lighter showers if you're traveling towards on I-26 north of Ivy up towards Flag Pond, and then down towards Lester into Fines Creek as well. You've got some of those spotty showers there. Over the next hour, though, again, a lot of these are just going to fall apart and dissipate. So by the time we get between 9 and 10 o'clock, we're pretty much done. The only thing lingering is the cloud cover at that point. And for the mountains, you'll start to clear out with sunny skies after we get past the lunch hour, and into the upstate, those mostly cloudy skies are going to linger through about 12 and then gradually clear from north down to south. So by 2 o'clock, we're back to those sunny skies as well. Temperature-wise, it's pretty mild. Not a lot of difference, though, between where we're at right now and where we're headed this afternoon, with only about a 5 to 10 degree climb. In 72 for Moore as well as Gray Court and Greer this afternoon. You got 69 out into Cowpens with 71 in Belton, 70 in Seneca, and that 73 in Abbeville. 62 in Bryson City, so cooler into the mountains as we're going to see those temperatures struggle as that cooler air already starts to filter in this afternoon. Even 56 for Spruce Pines, but then you got 68 as you look down towards Forest City this afternoon. The other thing this front is going to do is kick up those winds today. So we're going to see a pretty windy day. In fact, a little bit higher on those winds than yesterday. The upstate, we're looking at 25 to 35 mile per hour gusts into the afternoon. And for the mountains, you're looking at 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts, especially across some of those higher elevations. And that's going to continue into the evening hours. Then it dies down a little bit overnight tonight, especially for the upstate where the winds aren't going to be a factor tomorrow. But in the mountains, you're going to keep some of those gusts going 20 to 30 miles per hour as we head throughout the day on Wednesday. So that's going to keep that possibility of some downed trees, some possible isolated power outages as well, especially for the areas that are in a wind advisory, which includes all of Buncombe, Madison, Yancey, and Mitchell counties, as well as the mountains of McDowell and Rutherford County. That goes until 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning, with gusts as high as 50 miles per hour over some of those mountain ridge tops. Again, the winds staying elevated into the mountains tomorrow, calmer in the upstate with a lot of sunshine. We'll back off even a little bit more to highs in the 60s tomorrow. Outside very briefly out there this morning. As we go ahead and take a look at our temperatures, we're in the 50s and 60s right now. 60s all across the upstate from about 62 to around 65. In the mountains, we are seeing those temperatures drop as we start to get the beginnings of this cold front come through. So that's actually dropping you down into low 70s on Thursday, and then we soar back to above normal temperatures from Friday all the way into Easter weekend. So today, again, we're about where we should be, but it is going to be a bit of a difference from yesterday by about 10 to 15 degrees colder, with 71 in Travelers Rest, Cross Anchor, as well as Jonesville. You've got 69 in Blacksburg this afternoon. And on top of it being cooler than yesterday, the temperatures aren't really going to warm up a whole lot from where we're at this morning. Really only a 5 to 10 degree spread from our morning lows to our afternoon highs today. 74 in 96 with Williamston and Calhoun Falls checking in with that 72, 71 out towards Bowman, with 61 in Bryson City down to Silva and Brevard. So the mountains quite a bit cooler. In fact, you're almost 25 degrees colder than it was yesterday, where you set a new record high in Asheville of 86 degrees. 55 in Highlands. 64 in Marion as we start to feel the effects of this cold front come through during the day today. So that's going to put us below normal in the mountains with that forecast high of 63. Normal daytime high is 70, so we're 7 degrees off there. In the upstate, though, we're a lot closer to where we should be with a forecast high of 71, just 2 degrees off the normal daytime high. On top of the cooler temperatures, it's also going to be a windy day across the area, so thanks to that cold front. So those winds in the mountains are getting as high as 35 to 40 miles per hour, really from about 11 o'clock all the way through 5 o'clock this evening. For the upstate, we're looking at winds gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour late this morning into the afternoon. So a little bit higher even than what we had yesterday. Starts to come down a little bit this evening, but in the mountains, you're still going to be fairly breezy into the day tomorrow with 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. The upstate, the winds is not a factor for tomorrow. Temperatures, though, tonight behind that cold front going to drop down into the mid 40s across the upstate, upper 30s, low 40s into the mountains. So a chilly start to the day. And we're going to keep those cooler mornings around for Thursday and Friday before starting to moderate into this upcoming weekend. Back to a little closer to where we are this morning, where it's not quite as brutal into those morning hours. You don't have as wide of a temperature spread. That also comes in to play with where we also see our temperatures warming up this to the afternoon. For Good Friday, you've got 79 degrees there for the afternoon high, 84 on Saturday, and then 85 as we look ahead towards Easter Sunday, looking nice and dry. And beyond that, the weekend, we are going to keep those warmer temperatures around for next weekend as well. You'll notice there's not much in the way of rain chances as we head throughout the rest of this week and into the weekend as well. Looking good for all those Easter plans. You may want to turn on the irrigation systems, though. We do have a small rain chance on Monday, but a better chance for rain comes into play on Tuesday. We also have, it's incredible to watch how fast, though, these fell apart coming over the Tennessee-North Carolina border, where we did have some more substantial showers here just about a half hour ago showing up on the radar, but now they've pretty much fallen apart, and the only thing we've got left is a few showers through Yancey and Mitchell counties up around Cane River into Green Mountain and headed out towards Newland and Ingalls just outside of our area. Light spotty sprinkle maybe to the south of Fines Creek, but not a lot going on there on the radar. Temperature-wise, we're starting to climb here into the upstate, and trend is going to continue for the next couple of hours. By the time we get to lunchtime, that's about the time we're going to kind of stall out, with temperatures right now out the door anywhere from 64 to 67. In the mountains, you've actually been dropping as that cold front starts to move through. You'll gain a little bit of ground as we head into this afternoon, but the winds are also kicking up already. We've got winds gusting to 33 in Asheville, 20 in Clemson, 29 out towards Toccoa. So it's already off to a windy start to today. That's going to be one of the factors for what you wear today. Ladies, I like to call this a pants and ponytail kind of day. Otherwise, you may want to grab the t-shirts with 70 at 10, 71 at 1, 70 at 4 o'clock. Again, just not a lot of movement in the temperature department. Grab the sunglasses as well. We'll talk more about what's ahead with those winds and how long they stay elevated coming up here in just a few minutes. Ladies.
All right, Chrissy, coming up on 9:04, it's a day that we've been getting you ready for, drivers to be exact, as they get ready to head to downtown Greenville. It is because construction is set to get underway today on the Church Street Bridge.
Yeah, this is a live look courtesy of our United Community Bank camera there. And
mountains, at least for the next couple of days. Nice and quiet all across the upstate right now, and even in the mountains where we've had some scattered showers, they have fell apart dramatically here in just the last little while. Now we've just got a few spotty showers here through parts of Mitchell County, north of Grassy Creek, up around the Ingalls area. Those are really pretty much done at this point. As you'll notice, our future track really not picking up on anything as that moisture has been tapped out. So the cloud cover is going to be with us for the next handful of hours. By the time we get to noon, though, we start to clear out those skies in the mountains, and then in the upstate clearing from north down to the south between noon and 2 o'clock. So by the time we get to 3 o'clock, everyone's back into the sunshine for the later part of the day. Now, temperatures are a little more tricky here because temperatures were quite warm to start off with into the upstate. We're only going to gain about 5 to maybe at the most 10 degrees over where we started this morning, with 72 in Greer out to Union and Gray Court, 69 in Cowpens this afternoon, with 71 from Liberty into Hartwell, and that 73 in Abbeville. Now in the mountains, you've been dropping the last couple of hours as that cold front starts to progress into the area. So our temperatures are going to start to climb a little bit this afternoon, but you're going to be much cooler by about 25 degrees over the high in the mid 80s yesterday, 59 in Weaverville, 61 in Brevard, as well as Silva, with 56 in Spruce Pines, but then you do get to that 68 there in Forest City. The winds are also picking up as that front comes through. So yesterday was a pretty windy day. I think winds are going to be even a little higher today, with winds gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour across the upstate well into the afternoon. And in the mountains, you're looking at 35 to 45 mile per hour winds, especially across some of those higher elevations. Now, once we get past 8 o'clock, the winds in the upstate are going to start to come down, but we keep those winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour overnight tonight in the mountains, and then build 20 to 30 miles per hour as we head into the day tomorrow, with just some of that lingering wind energy, not quite getting out of the area, but calmer winds for the upstate expected as we head into the day on Wednesday. Now, we do have a wind advisory in effect for all of Buncombe, Madison, Yancey, and Mitchell counties, as well as the mountains of McDowell and Rutherford County as well. That goes until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's where we're most likely to see the possibility of some isolated power outages and maybe even some downed trees as well. Temperatures tomorrow, even a touch cooler with highs in the 60s. Then we get back to those low 70s on Thursday, and then soaring back to the 80s just in time for Easter weekend. We'll talk more about that warming trend as we look ahead towards this weekend. That's the main goal of Project Lead the Way.
More of a physical learner, so it helps a lot.
The program emphasizes hands-on learning, so the often complex concepts in science, technology, education, and math, or STEM, are easier to understand. Yesterday, but still not a bad day to be outside. It was just unseasonably warm yesterday, especially through the upstate. We're still getting to 70 degrees here by 10 o'clock. Mostly cloudy this morning, but then gradually clearing as we head into this afternoon. So by noon, we're partly cloudy with 71, and a lot of sunshine at 2, so feeling even better now that sun's back in full effect. 70 degrees at 4 and 69 at 6 o'clock this evening. So really, it's not bad out there. It is going to be windy, though, today, with those winds gusting anywhere from 25 to as high as 45 miles per hour, especially across the mountains there. We'll talk more about those winds, plus we'll talk about when those 80s do return to the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Ladies.
All right, Chrissy, thank you. Work is set to start today to improve a major corridor through downtown Greenville.
And it's impacting the speed and flow of traffic in the area. So Fox Carolina's own Marva Wees, we find her live in downtown Greenville to explain.
Yes, we are on the stairwell along.
Cooler in the mountains. We're going to stay on the slightly cooler side of things for tomorrow and Thursday as well, but then soaring back above normal with 80s returning as we head into Easter weekend. So we're on the downslide right now thanks to a cold front that's coming through this morning. Temperature-wise, this morning was actually very mild out there. We're just not going to warm up a whole lot with a temperature span between our morning lows and our afternoon highs of only about 5 to at most 10 degrees there. 68 degrees in Chesney as well as Blacksburg this afternoon, 70 in Simpsonville out towards Jonesville. You get 69 in Walhalla with 71 from Williamston down to Bowman, and that 73 in 96 this afternoon. Cooler for the mountains with a lot of 50s in places like Silva out to Canton down to Highlands, 60 in Marshall with 63 there in Hendersonville. So those temperatures struggling a little bit more in the mountains as that cold air starts to filter in as we head throughout the day today. So for the mountains, that puts you 7 degrees below your normal daytime high of 70 degrees with that forecast high of 63. In the upstate, your normal daytime high is 73, so 71, just a couple of degrees off of where you should be. The other effect of the cold front that we're all going to feel, besides a little bit of cloud cover, is also those winds. This is a look into the mountains where those winds are going to be gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour all the way through 5 o'clock this evening, 25 to 35 even into the upstate as well. So that could lead to some isolated power outages. We could be talking about some isolated down trees or tree limbs as well. It'll start to die down, as we head into this evening. But then tomorrow in the mountains, we're still going to be breezy with winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, calmer winds into the upstate. It's also going to be cooler tomorrow morning. We drop down into those mid 40s across the upstate and northeast Georgia, and in the mountains, upper 30s to low 40s. So a cooler start to the day as we see that trend continue again for that middle part of the week. We'll be on the cooler side again Thursday morning and then Friday morning, and then more mild as we head into this upcoming weekend, following suit behind those warmer afternoon highs. Good Friday, not looking too bad with 79 degrees, a lot of sunshine there. Easter Saturday, we're looking at 84 degrees and 85 as we look ahead towards Easter Sunday with scattered clouds throughout the weekend, but staying nice and dry for all those Easter festivities. And beyond the holiday weekend, we're going to keep these warmer temperatures going into next week as well. Looks like those 80s and upper 70s not really going anywhere anytime soon once we get to Friday and on into next week. You'll also notice it's dry out there. No rain in sight until maybe Monday. Right now, the chances for rain next week are very much up in the air as there's not a lot of good agreement on timing and pattern recognition at this point. So we're keeping an eye on that. But
Okay, sounds good.
Unfortunately, I can't give it to you for the next couple days.
Boo.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger.
I know.
I'm just the messenger. We've got low 70s this afternoon, about 71 or 70 to around.
But of course, hello and welcome to the Midday News on Fox Carolina. I'm Haley Spittler, joined by Fox Carolina First Alert meteorologist Chrissy K. And while it's a little bit cooler than yesterday, we got some good weather in store. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a shock compared to the 80s that we had yesterday to Bryson City, as we've got cold air advection that is switching on as a cold front moves through the area here. 60 degrees right now in Asheville down to Brevard and Hendersonville. You're the warm spot in the mountains there at 63, but you got quite a wide temperature spread right now. The upstate faring a lot better as that cold air is not going to reach down into the upstate until really tonight. So we've already got 70 in Greenville, Anderson, as well as Lawrence, 73 in Greenwood, and 67, excuse me, out into Clemson. But it's also windy as well as this now dry cold front. Any of those showers that we had this morning are out of here, moves through the area. Right now we're seeing winds sustained anywhere from about 6 to 23 miles per hour, and then gusting even higher, up around 39 mile per hour wind gusts in Asheville, 22 in Clemson and Rutherford, and 29 down into Greenwood, and 18 mile per hour gusts just recently there at the downtown airport in Greenville. We're going to keep those winds elevated through the rest of the day today, gusting anywhere from 25 to 45 miles per hour. Higher wind gusts in the mountains, but still 25 to 35 in the upstate. A lot of sunshine as we head through the rest of the day today. Those temperatures not going to gain a whole lot more ground, though. We're about as good as it's going to get, maybe a degree or two warmer for the next couple of hours, and then backsliding into those 60s as we head towards 6 and 8 o'clock this evening. We'll talk more about some cooler air especially for the next couple of mornings before that quick warm up, plus how strong do those winds get later on today, coming up here in just a few minutes. Haley, for that, Haley Knox.
Yes.
We are members, so who knows? Maybe we'll show up there on Monday.
And the baby.
Yes,
the
she
baby
will be
might
here.
be here.
That is true. She will be here on the 28th. So yes, as we take a look at that radar right now, you can see that any of the rain that we had this morning has fallen apart here, and we are now just seeing some of that cloud cover move through as this mainly dry cold front pushes through the area. We do have some of the scattered clouds, but overall, it's actually going to be a pretty pleasant rest of the day, except for the fact that the temperatures are going to be on the cooler side, especially for the mountains going forward into this afternoon as we start to feel the effects of that cold air move in. As we head through the afternoon, though, any clouds that we've got out there right now are going to continue to clear from the north down to the south. So by the time we get to 2, 3 o'clock, we are done with that cloud cover and we get that sunshine back into full force. But we are going to see, again, that cooler air moving in behind this front. Now, for the upstate, you're already into the 70s for a lot of areas. So you've got another degree or two to go before you get to your high of 71 in Greer as well as Gray Court, 68 in Gaffney with 71 from Liberty down to Hartwell, and that 72 in Abbeville. You've got 61 out towards Bryson City as well as Silva with 63 in Hendersonville. But look at Highlands, Waynesville, as well as Spruce Pines getting stuck in the 50s this afternoon. The noticeable thing that we're all going to see, and we saw it all yesterday, we're going to see it again today, is that those winds are going to be very blustery out there, even higher than yesterday, I think, especially as we head towards 2 o'clock, where we're looking at those winds across the upstate, 25 to 35 mile per hour gusts, and in the mountains, you're more so into that 35 to 45 mile per hour range. By the time we get to 8 o'clock, that sun's starting to set. That's when we'll start to see the winds come down across the upstate. But the mountains, you're going to keep those 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts going overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow. So a much calmer day with the winds across the upstate tomorrow. The mountains, though, still keeping those breezy conditions going into the much of the day on Wednesday, and then finally starting to die down Wednesday night into Thursday. We do have a wind advisory in effect for Buncombe, Madison, Yancey, and Mitchell counties, as well as the mountains of McDowell and Rutherford counties. That goes until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning with some 50 mile per hour wind gusts possible across some of those highest mountain ridge tops. So this could lead to some isolated power outages, not just within that wind advisory, but really anywhere today. You could see some isolated power outages, some isolated down trees and limbs, especially anything that's still compromised, some of those weaker limbs as well. And keep in mind some of your loose items, if you didn't bring them in yesterday after those gusty winds, could be blown away as we head into this afternoon.
Of the day, and today is National Take a Wild Guess Day. So how many days are in 28 years? Take a wild guess.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the question of the day.
I can't do the math that
I
fast
know.
in my head. Let's go with. I'm gonna go with 4,625 days.
Yeah, I would have gone with like 14,000, and I just quickly plugged it into my phone during the commercial break, and it said 10,000 and some change.
Oh, 10,000.
So that's
So you were right.
yeah, but we were both
Closer.
wrong.
Yeah,
We were both on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
that's
there.
true.
Well, that was a good wild guess.
Okay.
We're gonna have you take lots of wild guesses, okay? We've got some riddles,
This is gonna be wild.
and we want to hear some wild answers.
All right.
Some wild guesses.
Okay.
I feel like usually you do okay with riddles, so let's see
Okay.
if your skill set's there.
We'll
I have
see.
to be very sensitive because
see
the other day I
brains.
accidentally revealed the answer. Okay, question number 1. What question can you never say yes to? I like this music, Caitlin.
Yeah, I know this is.
Our director puts music on.
What question can you never say yes to? I have no idea.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah. Sleepy.
Are you asleep?
Are you asleep?
You can never say yes
because you're
because
asleep.
you're asleep.
Are you asleep yet?
All right.
Yes.
All right. Next one.
Yeah, got it.
You see a boat filled with people, yet there isn't a single person on board. How is that possible?
Filled with people, yet there isn't a single person on board. There's something going on in here. They're not on a board. Something having to do with the board.
There's something to do with this word.
Not a single. Oh, they're all couples.
They're all married.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. So they
There we
were
go.
on board.
Okay.
They just weren't
That
single.
was a tricky word. Word play there.
They don't call them riddles for nothing.
That's true.
All right, it belongs to you, but other people use it more than you do. What is it?
Other people use it. Your name.
She crushed it. It is your name.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what made me
Okay.
sad one time is someone was like, yeah, your dog probably doesn't know what your name is. And I was like, that's such a good point.
That is a really
because
good
like
point.
I'm never just around my apartment saying my name.
Yeah, that's
I call
true.
him Zobrist all the time.
Right. So he knows his name.
Yeah. I went
But-
home after that and I went, my name is Haley. I was like, this is so stupid.
Mama works though.
Yeah.
Mom. Hey mom. Hey mom. Hey mom.
Yeah. My fur baby is my baby, and I do refer
Yeah.
to myself as mom.
Yeah, for sure.
I do. What has many needles but doesn't sell?
A porcupine?
That would be an answer. It's not the answer we're looking for, but I would
A
count
rose
that.
bush?
I'm sure that also counts.
Okay, that's not the answer we're looking for.
No.
Oh man, I thought I was gonna get this
You're-
one.
well, you really have. I would count both those answers.
Okay.
But we're looking for one that's a little more seasonal, a little festive.
Oh, a pine, like a Christmas tree?
Ding, ding,
All
ding. A Christmas tree. Do you have a favorite riddle?
No.
Okay.
I leave the dad jokes to my husband.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I love a good dad joke.
Yeah.
Like, what's the smartest boat to sail the sea?
I don't know.
A scholarship.
A scholarship.
It's one of my faves. It's one of my faves.
That's pretty good.
My
pretty
favorite
good.
story about that pun, really quickly, is we like to write teases
Yeah.
when we do a newscast. Is what you hear as we go into commercial break.
Yeah.
Sometimes I help the morning news show out by writing them, and I love to get creative. And so I wrote something about like the scholarship has sailed, and our executive producer said, "No, Haley, no puns today."
I think that's good.
Thank you.
I would
It's been
appreciate
like
that.
3 years, and she tells me I have to stop bringing it up, but
Yeah.
I'm holding a grudge on that one.
It's not terribly windy right now, so that's some good news there, but I do still anticipate those winds continuing to build as we head through this afternoon. Still anticipate those 25 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, which is going to pick up the pollen and blow it around a lot today. I feel like the last day or two, a lot of you have been starting to sniffle and sneeze again. Those of you who suffer from the allergies. I know Chris Scott came in this morning a little stuffy. My husband was saying the same thing. So it feels like for this time of year by anywhere from about 20 to 15 to 20 degrees. Today, we're more so in the ballpark of where we should be for this time of year. And then we're about average to below normal for Wednesday and Thursday before seeing those 80s return to the forecast for this upcoming holiday weekend. So today is in the ballpark of normal for the upstate at least. You got 72 in Simpsonville down to Clinton, 68 in Chesney as well as Blacksburg with with clearing skies into the afternoon. 71 from Easley to Bowman with 74 and 96 this afternoon, 70 in Walhalla. Excuse me, we do have a temperature difference though. As you look into the mountains, cold air advection switching on as we get that dry cold front coming through. So therefore, our temperatures are going to be much cooler this afternoon as we struggle to get back into the 60s. A lot of you started in the 60s this morning, but now that you've dropped into the 50s, we're going to have a hard time getting back there. But I think we get to 61 in Silva, 64 out towards Marion. Canton and Highlands, though, you do get stuck in the 50s. For the mountains, that puts you about 7 degrees below normal with that forecast high of 63. 70 is your normal daytime high. In the upstate, you're a lot closer to that 73, which is your normal daytime high, with a forecast high of 71. As I've been mentioning all morning, it is going to be windy today. Winds in the upstate gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour, 35 to 40 miles per hour into the mountains, and that continues all the way through the dinner hour and then starts to come down once we get closer to sunset. But for the mountains, keep in mind those winds are going to stay elevated overnight tonight. That actually helps a little bit to keep good radiational cooling at bay, which is why we only drop into the upper 30s to low 40s. If the winds were calmer, it would actually be quite a bit cooler in the mountains. In the upstate, we're bottoming out in those mid 40s. So it is going to be a cool start to the day. We'll see that again on Thursday morning and Friday morning. So we're back to layering it up, but then we get those more mild temperatures back in the forecast for overnight lows once we get into this upcoming weekend. And that goes hand in hand with the return of those 80s. So for Good Friday, we're looking at 79 with a lot of sunshine there, 84 on Saturday, and then 85 for Easter Sunday. Mix the sun and clouds as we look ahead towards Saturday and Sunday, and even beyond the holiday weekend, we are looking ahead to much warmer temperatures sticking around well into next week as well. A lot of sunshine the next handful of days. You'll notice the dry forecast as well. We'll start to increase the rain chances on Monday, but right now it's kind of a messy looking forecast. Not a lot of rhyme or reason to when those storm systems come through. Not a lot of agreement with the models. So we'll fine tune those details as we head through the next handful.
He is by far my favorite original cast member.
Yeah.
And I thought you don't get second chances all that often.
Yeah.
So I looked up some shows. I texted my sisters. I texted my bestie. I got a couple of them on board, and I'm going to go see this show in October, and I'm like,
That's so exciting.
So excited. I cannot believe it. I truly get to be in the room where it happens.
Literally.
So
amazing.
Yeah, I love that he's returning. I think that so many fans were hoping that something like this would happen for the 10th year anniversary, but I kind of also like wrote it off, being like, it's never going to happen.
Right.
So I'm just thrilled.
But
now,
yours,
if the rest of the cast wants to announce they're starting to come back too, I mean,
Oh man.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Can you
very
imagine
happy if we just get one.
Lin-Manuel
Miranda. Yeah, he hasn't played that role since I think Puerto Rico, but if he comes back, I mean, I will say
That'd be
this is like
huge.
already selling super well, so I would
yeah.
imagine that would also sell well. Oh my gosh,
The
yeah.
hottest ticket in town.
I mean, I just think it's like a shining star coming back to the theater, and I would say your forecast is kind of like a shining star. It's not that bad.
It is for the upstate today.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cooler in the mountains where your temperatures are already in the 50s and 60s, so you're going to struggle to get back to those low 60s. But at least for the upstate, we are into the 70s this afternoon. Just be aware those winds, I think, are going to be a little gustier than yesterday, Haley. So this is what I like to call a pants and pony